Before we begin, I just want to say this video contains personal reflections on a tough day in psychiatric rehab. If you're in a vulnerable place right now, please take care while watching. I'm not a mental health professional. This is just my lived experience. So if you're struggling, please reach out to a mental health professional or a support line in your area. I've added links in the description below. You're not alone.
Hello everybody, Chris here, day 14 of 43. And as you can see, I've taken a little walk up to this viewpoint here, lovely setting, overlooking the Danube and the surrounding hills. It's been an interesting day, a bit emotional, I have to say. I'll start in the morning. We had our usual morning activation. That's nothing to say there, because there's more important topics to discuss. So we had, if you remember, this occupational therapy where we chose a project that we wanted to do. And so today was about starting that project. Now we arrived in the class. Everyone had an idea, but we were waiting for some steer, and the class leader was in hysterics, running everywhere, helping people who ask, and then other people jumping in. It was a free-for-all. And so I started to feel a bit uncomfortable, so I just sat down and tried to just take it in, but people were sawing behind me, hammering, throwing clay to the floor. It was unbelievable. The chaos was unbelievable. There was another class and I didn't know where to start. I didn't want to ask the teacher anything because she's overwhelmed. I just panicked and I ran out. It's horrible. It was the best decision for me at the time though. I went to my room and I thought, how can I solve this? So I grabbed some headphones and I put them in and I came back down to the class. And I just sat down again. And then when the time was right, I went to the teacher and says, I've changed my mind. I don't want to make a basket. I figured I need just to be able to work alone to a plan. And so that's what I did. I've started this sort of, I'm not sure if it's origami, but it's folding paper in the shape of a rabbit. It's very nice. It can be quite modern. Something maybe that sits in our flat. So this is what I've started, but I don't like chaos. I hate it. It really upset me. It set me off in a bad way. And that's why I like structure. And part of me wanted to step in and take over. You know, we could have been organized in the groups of, depending on what type of work we were creating. And it's one lesson for all. Instead, it was just one after the other, no orderly fashion. Maybe it's the islander in me and not the European in me that just likes to form an orderly queue and wait your turn. But it was, as I said, a bit chaotic. But maybe I thought at lunch, maybe this was on purpose. Was this designed to test my resolve, to test how I deal with such situations? Whether it was or whether it wasn't, as uncomfortable as it was, it maybe was a good exercise. And I'll try to take from that what I can. But it kind of upset my rhythm a bit, to be honest. That was about 2 hours. Then we had a short break, and then And then I had my first individual therapy, and it was intense, very intense. We went to places, I wasn't expecting to go. And I can't open up too much, because I need to keep some privacy, but the depression seems to be coming from traumatic episodes growing up. And these are things I need to revisit. Luckily, the individual therapist I've received here specializes in that, and that's something I need to go and look at, because I just want to fix it. Enough running away, and I want to meet it head on, and I'll try anything. Yeah. So I don't. I'm sick. I'm just sick of it all. And how that plays out in the workplace, difficult work environments. I believe it's all interconnected, and I'm super happy. After 2 weeks, I've finally had an individual session. I've been missing my regular appointment with my one in Vienna, my psychologist. It was very upsetting. I just felt very vulnerable today. I also heard some news about family in Ireland, and it's my grandmother. She's lived a fine age. She's pretty old. She's maybe not going to be with us much longer, and it's hard for me to stand here or be here. Part of me wants to run away and go and see her one last time. I went back in June, and I feel I said what I had to say. I told her everything I needed to say, and that remains private, of course. For the first time in a long time, I cried today. And I'm feeling a bit homesick. Yeah. But I'm on the right path. If something happens in the next weeks, I have to stay here. I've got to fix this, and as I've said my goodbyes and what I had to say, I like to cherish those memories, and if it doesn't happen, then that's great. I'll try to get home as soon as I can after this. But yeah, day 14 is probably my most vulnerable day here. And yeah, we went Nordic walking in the afternoon. I'm just back. Decided to extend it. I prefer filming outdoors. It's just seems less claustrophobic, and so this is me getting away, and it's just nice. So what happens today? I will probably go back to the room and try to just stay with myself. I prefer that today, and tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow we have a free day. There is no plan. So I'm gonna fix up my bike, get on the saddle, and just take off somewhere. And yeah, that's it for me today. Thanks for listening. This is Chris Wilson, and that's where I'm at. Bye-bye.